Hey everybody, Mike here. Let's do a quick review on this little punch down tool made by Fluke Networks. This particular model's been out for probably pushing 20 years now if I had to guess. I've had this particular one since I hired back into telecom back in the, I think it was around 2008 range. This is something that's been in my tool pouch ever since then. This particular one is a D914. Now what this comes with is you get your 66 and your 110 punch block dies. So you got the one here in the tip like this, and then in the bottom here you can store the other one as well. So you've got that for both, if you're doing like your datacom jacks in an office setting or at the home setting, or you can do your punch down blocks like you see here. Now this also does come with a bit that also has a slotted and a flathead screwdriver bit that you can put on the end of this. That's been gone for some time. I've misplaced that. The other nice thing that this tool's got on the side here, it pops out, is this little grabber tool here. Now as far as functionality this thing goes, besides your little release lever here to get that blade out of the end here, you've just got a low and high impact. If you've never used one of these before, basically the way that's designed to operate, if you're doing 24 or 26 gauge wire, you probably leave that on the low, and that's just so when you punch down, it's not going to actually split the wire and break it off inside your jack. And then your high settings more for like your 22 gauge stuff. Now you've probably noticed on the market there's a ton of these things. This is going to be at the top end when it comes to price point. Lower end models work great for someone that's a consumer that might just be doing like 1 or 2 jacks in their house. They just want to be able to own the tool. Probably can't justify spending the amount of money on something like this if you're only going to do it once in a while. If you're a professional and you're doing this day in, day out, or even several dozen times a year, it'd be worth the step up to this Fluke. These things just keep going. They last forever. In my personal opinion, they're kind of the top end when it comes to punch down tools. For that matter, anything Fluke makes is really kind of considered top end in my opinion. If you've never used one of these things before, basically if you got a jack like you see here where you just need to punch that down, you would switch out your blade like so. If you want to cut the excess wire off, use this side here that's got the little point at the end, or if you don't want it to, you can use the flat side here and you can continue that wire on to another jack. If you're doing like a POTS line and you want to be able to continue that wire on. Basically what you're going to do here is you'll lay your wire down, put that in your jack, and then just punch down like that. When it punches down, it's going to set that wire down in between the 2 little metal teeth and cut it if you have it in the right side or not, depending on which way you're going with that. The other common way you'll be doing this is if you have a punch down block like this mounted on the wall, and usually these are in a business setting, you'd swap out your blade. This has more of a hollow end here. Same deal though. It's got a tip designed to cut the wire, or you can continue the wire on. You put that deal in there like this. Now something else to notate, if you look on the end of this thing, it shows you which end's the cutting end on this, which is going to be the yellow. But you put that thing on like so, run this on down on your punch down block, give it a push, it'll punch that down, set it in between the wires. I very rarely have I ever had this thing not work. I mean, once in a while you get one wire where if you're just holding it funky, it doesn't set. For the most part, 90+% of the time, this tool just works with no questions asked. Some of those cheaper ones, I've owned a few of those over the years, and what tends to happen most of the time, at least what I've seen, is the blades wear out a little more quickly than this one does, stops cutting the wire after a while, and even worse, the punch, when you get it down and you push down on it, that mechanism inside there, for some reason stops working. It's like the spring in there gets tired, and it doesn't punch the wire down properly. To kind of reiterate on what I said a minute ago, if you're just doing this every once in a blue moon and you're just wanting this for your own personal use, by all means, if you don't want to spend the money, there are some better budget ones out there. But if you're in the professional industry, just getting started in datacom, or you've never owned one of these Flukes, I suggest strongly in stepping up to one of these models. I don't think you're going to regret it, especially if you're using this thing every day. The less frustration you got to go through on a daily basis, the better off, right? So that's all I've got for you today, guys. I appreciate you watching. I'll catch you guys on the next one.